Hi, listeners. Welcome again to the AUSNZ Community Podcast, episode 15. A very special podcast we have tonight. We have a couple of guests in from the team Kaos, but they're no longer called Kaos anymore. They're called the New Kaos. A big merger happened in the last couple of weeks between the New Water and Team Kaos. Jordan, Devastator, and Lupine are here to talk all about it in a short while, and we'll hear from them very soon. Last episode was from Creepers. We got Creepers in tonight, and of course, our usual host as well, Eva, will be joining us. Pete will be in about half an hour or so. He's actually still at work and is currently on his way home driving in the car. He will be joining us very soon. Welcome, Eva. Welcome, Creepers, guys, to the podcast yet again for another great episode.
Hey guys, welcome back, everybody. Thank God, GDR is feeling better because one episode as the pro host was enough for me. I'll leave that to GDR. So,
mate, tell you what, that was absolutely. I was really feeling it 2 weeks ago. I'm so happy I'm back to my normal self. Unfortunately, my daughter has copped it, and she's actually pretty sick at the moment. So it's going around at the moment. Unfortunately, around in Sydney and just most parts in Australia because it's winter here, but little virus things going around, and everyone's copping it at the moment. So, along with COVID and the the usual flu and influenza, it's not that great. Monkeypox to throw that in as well. That's fantastic.
Not good at all.
That's not good at all, is it? Anyway, mate, how you been over the last couple of weeks? You've been pretty busy though, haven't you? You're not at home at the moment. You're in state.
Yeah, I've come to Adelaide to help my sister get her house ready for rental. So yesterday I was cleaning gutters and moving furniture and all that sort of stuff, and today is actually a relaxed day by doing the podcast. I'm actually relaxing.
Yeah,
so 800 Ks on Thursday. Spent a fair bit of day yesterday moving stuff around and being a handy guy. So and I'll probably be here for another couple of days. So editing might take a bit longer than normal, but look forward to editing this podcast because I think this is going to be a cracker.
Absolutely, I've been looking forward to this podcast for a while now. Ever since I spoke to Dev a few months ago, we were talking about it, and it's finally here, and I've got the boys from Kaos there, great bunch of guys, and fantastic team, kind of like a sister team for AUSNZ. We've been pretty close over the last few months, and they've come to help us, and we've come to help them, and I think we've got a really good relationship between the two communities, and it's fantastic to have the boys here. We'll get them on soon. Creepers, mate, welcome to the show. How are you going?
Yeah, great to be here. Been pretty good in this last week or two. Been very cold. Yeah, had the heater on.
How cold has it been? I mean, compared to over in the States where the boys are and stuff like that, and Canada and where it's probably not as cold, but for us Aussies, it's actually been quite cold, hasn't it?
Yeah, I get cold as soon as it drops below 20 degrees, and overnight the last few days it's been around 0, maximum of about 5.
People are going to be listening to this. People are going to be listening to this and going, "You have got to be kidding! 20 degrees? That is absolute. That's like summer weather for other people. It's like you go to the UK. That's like it's perfect summer's day. It's 20 degrees.
Well, just remember we're talking Celsius here, not Fahrenheit. So
yes, that's Celsius. That's correct. Well, anyway, mate. So I just want to say thanks for coming into the show today on a bit of short notice. Alpha's not here today. Alpha is busy, real life stuff, and thanks for filling in for him today.
No worries.
Just chime in when you can, and we'd love to hear what you have to say about things we're going to talk about later on. Okay, let's get stuck into some news. We had a couple of resets recently. Arms Eagles, were reset. We had a couple of bands there. We had Fox band from Arms Eagles, which was a CC team. The Fair Play server moderators reported Sporty Sporty posted a screenshot of his game, and it had like millions and millions of gems and had like billions of coins. Basically, what he tried to do is he tried to modify his screenshot. He tried to Photoshop it. However, it was poorly done. Basically, caught him out, and I sent off a report to the Fingersoft team at support, and I think a couple of the other guys sent off reports as well. He was banned within a few hours, so he's been permanently banned, and I believe it's on all 3 accounts as well. Anyway, so moving on, Eva, we'll probably get into your segment now.
Yeah, sure.
Any AUSNZ news that you could think about by any chance?
No, but I'm looking forward to maybe getting some of the smaller teams maybe online. It'd be nice to hear from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, we had Aussie Grown, which is AG, who have left the community. We also wanted to tee up some friendly matches with other Australian teams. I'm talking specifically AUSNZ2, which are in Division 1. And unfortunately, we've asked a couple of members from Oz Muscle. They have declined us. I'm not sure if they're scared or they don't want to get 3K'd. Well, they probably will get 3K'd. But I just want to say that the couple of comments that came out of what they were saying about AUSNZ in general is highly offensive, and I don't really appreciate a couple of comments that some of their leaders made.
Well, you could always reach out to Tessa because we're in Division 1.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, I think a couple of the other guys want to probably, maybe see if we can hook up some matches with some other New Zealand teams and stuff like that. So we'll see how we go with that. But what did you specifically want to have a discussion about today?
One thing that's really weird and wonderful about the game is that it morphs to suit your phone. So depending on, because it's also across 2 platforms in terms of iOS and Android. We won't talk about those iPhone things because they're terrible.
Hey, calm down. I'm an iPhone lover here, mate. I
don't have an iRon, all right? I don't have an iRon.
I'm very anti Android. I can't stand it.
No. So yeah, but the thing with the game is it spreads the screen to match the entire screen size. So and most of the current, Android S21s and Note 10s and that sort of stuff, they're getting longer and thinner. So the aspect ratio is becoming more letterbox and less square. And if you work towards an older iPad, some of the older iPads, the aspect ratio, obviously when I say aspect ratio, I mean how wide it is compared to how tall it is more squarer. So, what does that mean? What does it mean to gameplay? How does that help? And why would it worry you? So, I'm quite lucky. I have acquired a Galaxy Fold 2, which when you open it up and you play the game on the full-size screen on the inside, it's almost 1-to-1 aspect ratio. So you can see as high as you can as far forward when you're driving, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're doing coin collection, spins, and that sort of stuff on the moon, you want to be able to fly into the air and make sure you don't hit anything. So I have more vision up high. And it also means I've got more vision when I'm coming in for a landing because I can see more of the screen below me than I can in front of me. But in saying that,
which is excellent for maps for like multi-jump maps, because you could well it's actually very good for multi-jump maps because you can see your landing spots, and that's absolutely crucial because you get your landing spot wrong, like one little wrong move, you lose momentum, you stuff up the stage. Yeah.
So I mean, my device of choice before this Galaxy Fold was a Note, or the Note series. I've had Notes since a Note 4, and I've been playing the game on Notes ever since. having it was usually slightly taller than it was longer, than just Galaxies, and then some of the smaller iPhones are quite tiny. Some of the 11s and 10s were quite small in screen size, so you don't really have that visibility up high or down low. And obviously, the longer the screen, the more you can see the track in front of you, but you can't see the track above and below you. And I think if you look at some of the videos online, I think Vocope uses a Galaxy Fold or something similar to that. You can see a lot more screen size above and below. I'm pretty sure that Verishak uses an older iPad or something like that. He also has quite a square ratio on his screen. But it's one of those things. It's you use what you play with. And I remember talking to people like Cam. Camo was telling me that he was using an old iPhone, and some people were using some of the older Samsung A21s, which the screen ratio is more letterbox than it is square. So there are some people that think the square ratio.
With some of those older phones as well, it lags a lot too. When it lags,
Yeah, that's a completely different topic. Like, that's a completely different topic, because the lag and all that sort of stuff, I want to cover that in another episode. Because my alt is on an older Tab 8, like Galaxy Tab 8, and I've played the game now on like 7 or 8 different devices across 2 accounts, including an old Lenovo tablet. So I'll talk about lag and controls probably in the next episode, just for a bit of fun. But
yeah.
I just wanted to get people's opinions on screen size, and whether, if you can, leave us a comment or mention what you use and whether you like or not, and whether you wanted more screen size, or this is the crux of why I'm mentioning this: should Fingersoft restrict the screen size so then everybody has the same screen size?
Yep, fair enough. Creepers, is there anything you want to add with this discussion in regards to ratios and screen sizes, mate? What are you currently using for your account at the moment on HCR2?
I have the one account, and at the moment it's on an iPhone XR. So I've got a very wide and not very tall screen, so it makes multi-jump pretty tricky. So particularly for big jumps, I'm often landing blind or almost blind. But when I first started playing, I was on an iPad, it's an ancient iPad 4, and that was so much easier in terms of multi-jump and just more visibility where everything's larger.
Yeah, multi-jump, and also like long jumps, and all those different types of stages, like the moon stages and things like that. So
when you look at those moon stages and you're flying in either the capsule or the bus, and you're flying up into the stratosphere, so then you can get as much distance as you can, you need to be able to see whether there's any satellites above your head or anything like that.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'll smack into stuff.
yeah, so done that probably. I don't know. I've done that once or twice.
You said long jumps particularly tricky on my device.
Yep.
Because of that very reason.
Yep.
Technically, I've got 2 accounts, but I've got 3. My son's iPad, it's quite a newish iPad. It's one of those big ones, but I don't. He plays that account, and I don't. Yeah, I don't have nothing to do with that account. He just mucks around on it and stuff like that. But I played once or twice on that one, and it's the screen is just so big. It just makes a hell of a difference in regards to my iPhone 11. So I've got an iPhone 11 Pro Max. Yeah, it makes a huge difference, doesn't it? I can just see different parts of the maps where I wouldn't normally see.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just wondering if Fingersoft can. Look, I don't know. I'm hoping in future updates, or possibly when HCR3 maybe comes out one day, if everybody has the same screen ratio. But I suppose it doesn't work in regards to different devices, because it all depends on what device you have. But if they end up going to console, which is a rumor. It's not confirmed, obviously. It's a rumor. If they go to console, that will be a game changer because most people will have what's the biggest max screen size you can have with a
4K nowadays.
yeah, it's like something ridiculous. Yeah, everyone will have like great advantage, so it'll be something to keep an eye on, I guess.
And that's what I was trying to get at. I think if Fingersoft reduce the screen size to a specific size or a specific aspect ratio, regardless of device, then no one would have an advantage.
Yeah, and even going to console, it's a whole new ball game in terms of ratios. There's some TVs that have got different ratios. Some are wider, some are narrower and taller.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And, yeah, it almost transfers the problem there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Most home computers now have more than one screen, or have up to 3 or 4 screens. It's not hard for someone to stretch the game across 2 screens, possibly. Stacking 2 screens one on top of the other and stretch the game across 2 screens. There's a lot could be done.
Well, one thing's for sure, if the HCR3 does get released out on console, I think I will be running off down to the store and buying a PS5 as soon as bloody effing possible. That's all. I've held off getting a PS5, but if it does happen to come to that, yep, GDR's going to get a PS5. And I'll have to get FIFA with it too. But if I get FIFA, I'm going to have to stop playing HCR3, so you can play FIFA. It's a very fascinating subject, Eva, because everybody has different devices, everybody has different ways of playing the game, and if all of a sudden, if you jump onto a different device and you're not used to it, you don't go too well.
The reaction times, especially with jump shocks, the button pressing time and all of that sort of stuff changes. But I want to cover that probably in the next episode. Talk about devices and lag and power and RAM and that sort of stuff. I want a little bit more research on that before I open my mouth on that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. All good. Creepers, is there anything you want to add to this episode, mate? Sorry to throw you under the bus, but
one thing I had noticed in Adventure, we had our very first player hit 4 million stars. I'm sure you know who that is. It's Zorro himself.
4 million stars, is that Zorro?
Yep, sure is.
4 million stars in Adventure. Just the guy is out of this world. Like I said, I don't know. You can't really say there's the best player in the world, but in my opinion, he's top 3, possibly top 2, along with Linus. But he's incredible, isn't he? 4 million stars. I suppose it's obviously the new vehicles obviously helped a little bit, but
well, there's another 230,000 stars.
230,000. Yeah, exactly.
New vehicle.
Yeah. So Creepers, would he have probably mostly 10K'd most adventure maps, do you think, to get that?
I reckon he'd come very close. I know he's maxed out the desert, forest, and come very close in the reef. I'm not 100% sure of the others, but he has well over 200,000 for many of them.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, wow.
He's just, it just amazes us, just the talent and, just the pure talent he has for the game. I mean, when it comes to HCR2, it's Linus and it's Zorro. Other games in Counter-Strike, it used to be the boys from Finland and Sweden, Heaton and all those guys, and these days it's a guy called Simple. If all the Counter-Strike lovers out there knows that Simple is, and
well, I'd like to say thanks to DeBell because he spurred me to do 10K on 3 more vehicles in desert with a couple of tips through the week. He mentioned a couple of little tricks on how to get out of some of the big ditches between the big ditches with the sand. So I managed to get 3 more vehicles over 10K.
Good stuff, mate. That's really, really good. No, I take my hat off to anybody who does anything on adventure because I'm like the worst adventure player in the whole game. So Well done, mate. It's good. It's good achievement.
Oh no, it
Massive
wasn't
shout
me.
out. Massive
It was
shout out to
all
DeBell.
it was all
Yeah,
DeBell.
yeah. Good on you, DeBell. You're a champion, mate. He's, by the way, listeners, if you don't know, he's probably the number one adventure player in Australia, along with probably Trekkie and Josh, and of course our very own Creepers.
Yep. Alrighty.
Yeah, thanks for that, Creepers. That's pretty good insight to what's going on in the
Yeah,
adventure.
it's pretty significant.
Yeah, right at the moment. So I reckon because Pete's not here, he's away at the moment, so he'll probably give us his. We'll probably touch on events a little bit. We could probably just talk about this team event a little bit now if you want to. Even just have a little touch on. Although we can talk about the multi jump we just had before in the public event. Everybody's favorite multi jump. I know it was one of mine. How'd you guys like that? I finished it within a day. I got 400 points within a day. I don't know what you guys were doing.
Yeah, I sat down and did it on both accounts in about an hour and 10 minutes for both.
An
and-
hour and 10 minutes. There you go.
roughly, and then it was basically just I used the Jeep, the Jeep on all of it. Practice my jump shock skills on Jeep. And yeah, it was all about landings.
Yeah, I was just waiting for my favorite tracks to come around. I don't know what your favorite tracks were, or mine was multi jump one, which is the forest multi jump.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of everybody's favorites. That one. You get the landing spots in that, and you get to the flat bits down past like 300-400 meters. You're pretty much set for the rest of the track. Multi jump 6, the track number 6 is a good one. It's got those little grooves.
Yeah,
And
the other
then
one in the forest.
Yeah, that's the forest one again, and then you get up to the big mountain section at the end and try and get up above the two mountains.
Yep.
Or should I say two hills, not really mountains, but two little hills.
Well, the only one I didn't like doing was the factory one.
Factory one I don't mind. The only one I didn't like doing, not the city one that we've got in the new team event coming up now, but on country where it's got the hill, so it's got the yeah,
It's got the big ditches and the hills with the different levels.
Yeah. Both the country tracks I didn't like. The other country track is the one where it's got the hills, and you got to dive into the hills, and then it's a flat surface at the end. I don't like that.
Yeah. I don't mind that one. It's a couple of not so much lucky bounces, but well placed bounces in the first section will get you a reasonable score. Yeah, that factory one was a pain in the backside, because if you miss that first swing from the magnet, it was just downhill from there.
I didn't mind track number 2, which was
Was that the countryside one with the small divots?
No, that's track number 6, I think. Oh, is it track number 6? Yeah, I can't remember. That's forest number 6. No, I can't remember the other one. But track number 6, track number 1, and of course the moon stage. Yeah. But you didn't like the factory one.
Agree on that.
No, I hated the factory one. It was just so hit and miss. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'll pass.
Yeah, fair enough. We could talk about our current team. We could talk about the last one as well. Last one has just gone now, which was first stage was Forest, which was the scooter. Majority of the people were using scooter kangaroo style. I don't know how it was good, but you needed to build up speed towards the end when you start running out of fuel, because otherwise you just won't make it up the hill at 1100 meters. There's a couple of bugs in there, a couple of spots where you do the jump shocks and it just didn't go. I got stuck a couple of times.
Yeah, I saw you post something about being stuck.
Yeah, so I got stuck a couple of times with that one. Anyway, so what's the what was track 2?
Box Smash. We used the monster truck.
Yeah, monster truck with that's the usual stage that everybody comes up every now and then. If you dip too hard in after the start and you get to those little rock things at the bottom, if you're facing too far forward, you're just going to flip forward. I've done that a couple of times. Track number 3 was
Bone
was
Gorge.
Bone Gorge
Of course, Bone Gorge.
using the rotator
Yep, rotator, which was wings, coin, afterburner,
afterburner. My
which
favourite.
was So you just have to dip into the coins in the fuel, and then you just have your you have your brain on max if you got max, or as high as you can, and just it should put you up if you got at least 3k. Level 3 coin boost. It should get you over the bone, and most times it did. Sometimes I was on a good run and I stuffed it, but yeah, most times you can get past that quite well. Then the last stage was
It was a hill climb
oh
with
yeah,
the low rider.
that's right, hill climb with the lone rider. Yeah, I only got I got about 270 meters. I didn't really get to 300, I don't think, from memory. How did you go with that one, Eva and Creeps?
I managed a 10k on the last one with the lowrider on the alt of all things. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I was using that second row of stone bridges. I'd drive over them. I used to jump over them to start with, but now I drive over them and then let them fall and then reverse back over the top of them, wait for the fuel to run out and get shot up the thing, catch the fuel, and then go up and over.
Okay, that's an interesting tactic.
Yeah.
I just usually at the second stones. I just waited for the fume to kick in, and then I'd use the fume to go over the stones, and then make my way up to the fuel. I did it that way.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
occasionally I'd
Because-
go over the stones and stumble and get knocked out by the stones. So I thought, no, I'll drive over them, get them to fall, wait for them to clear, wait for the fume boost to start up, grab the fuel on the way up, and then you'd as you're powering up the hills, you basically let off about halfway up the hills, and you just slightly fly onto the next landing and then do the same again. And then you get to the top landing before fume cuts in again, and you fume up that last hill, which gets you to the next landing, which is 10k.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um, I
And
did
what?
my first, I did my first ever 36k score on my main account. I did two 10ks back to back, the jump shocks, which was crazy for me because I'm old. I managed 1500 meters.
Hang on a second. You're not a 16-year-old. You can't jump shock.
Jump shocks, old people. Ha! I can beat you all.
Oh my god. Yeah, Mapro is probably he's probably a jump shock expert, isn't he? He could probably
Of course.
yeah, of course he is. He's,
No
he's
thumbs.
good at
He'll
everything.
get by.
Yeah, he'll get
Yeah,
by.
he's good at everything. No, I did, and then I 10k on the jump shocks, and I went, oh my god, did a big plane outside, and to show people, backed it up with 10k.
Yeah, good stuff. You were yeah, that's a great score. Anything over 35k is a fantastic score. I didn't quite reach 35k. I only got to 33, but I was proud of myself for getting 33. I thought that was actually pretty good for my standards. But I was actually talking to Devastator in the Fair Play channel during the week, and he was showing me. He will talk to you about this later on, but he was telling us that something ridiculous. They matched up with Russia National, playing Russia National, and he was showing me the scores. He got 37.8k for 49th place. So he was in 49th. He got 37.8k. Apparently they had something ridiculous like 41 players over 38k at one stage between the new Chaos and Team Russia, no National Russia, and unfortunately the boys from Chaos just missed out. They were beaten by about a couple of 100 points to Russia National. Speaking of Team Chaos, what do you reckon, Eve? Creepers?
Bring him in.
Bring him in. We have a very special trio of guests who are joining us for this episode. Team Chaos. We have the leader from Team Chaos, which is Jordan. We have Jordan's 2IC, I think he might be 2IC, which is one of my friends from the. He's a fellow moderator in the Fair Play server, which is his name is Devastator, and we have Lupine or Lupine. I can't really get the pronunciation right, but I'm sure he will correct me in a sec. Who is one of the leaders in the community as well, and I think he's the leader of Team 2, maybe. I don't know, maybe, but he's in there anyway. I think he's got a couple of accounts in Chaos teams. Guys, thanks for joining us on the episode today. We'll start off with the boss man himself, Jordan. Welcome to the AUSNZ podcast, mate. Thanks so much for joining us. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us today. Welcome.
Hey boys, really happy to be here. Thanks again for inviting us on.
Most welcome, mate. Thanks for coming on. It's great to have you here. We could talk all things. We could talk a lot about what's going on with the team and the merger. We'll get all to that in a second, but we'll welcome in Devastator as well. Dev, my friend from the Fair Play server. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Great to have you here, mate. Thanks for joining us, and it's been a long time coming to get you on the show and talk all things HCR2.
Oh, absolutely. I've been looking forward to it for a long time.
Yeah, we've been buds for a while now, so it's great to actually have a conversation and talk to you. And Lupine, mate, is it Lupine or Lupine? Correct me, buddy. What how do you say?
I don't even
Lupin.
Lupin.
Yeah, Lupin.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
Lupin, thanks, mate, for joining us. It's good to have you on the show too, boys.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Just was talking about the last match you had with Russia National. Unlucky there. It was a close match, and it swung both ways, didn't it? There was a few lead changes in the match, wasn't there?
Yeah, we had the lead coming up into, I guess, North American night, we'll call it there, and then by the time Dev and I would have woke up, Russia just happened to get a few more top scores in there and beat us by about 200 points.
Right. I reckon you guys will get them next time because we have had you guys have had a bit of a change going on. So let's first talk about team history. Just tell us, Jordan, about the history of Chaos and everything that's happened since your HCR2 days, mate. Did you play HCR1 by any chance?
No, I didn't actually. The HCR2 was the first game I played in this franchise.
Rightio. And how did you how did you find HCR2? Tell us a bit of the history, and not just the history of Chaos, but the history of your personal journey with HCR2.
Sure. So back in, it would have been August 2017, I just got a new phone and was just kind of going through the Google Play App Store, just looking for some games to pass the time, right? And I've always been a big fan of going back onto PlayStation, for example, just some racing games. So like Need for Speed, and then there was the old what is it called, the MX versus ATV series, stuff like that. So those kind of things have always been right up my alley, and I think it was on one of the popular pages, like top grossing pages, maybe, was this game called HillClimb Racing 2. So I just kind of looked at the the page for that, and thought it piqued my interest, downloaded it, and at the time back then, I do not have a great memory as to what was in the game back then. Obviously, there's been a lot more content in the past almost 5 years. But I just mainly played cups at the time. Wasn't a big adventure guy, really. Obviously, teams didn't come for almost 2 years at that point. But was very quickly addicted, just trying to unlock all the vehicles and everything, right? Trying to get through the game. I'm a bit of a completionist, so probably spent a lot more time than I should have at first playing it. Could have been doing some other things, but just a very addictive personality for games and stuff like that. So got into it really quickly.
We've all been down that road. We've all experienced that. It's when I first started playing it, I just couldn't really stop playing it, to be honest. But I came in a little later than you. But so what was the first team? Did you create a team straight away when teams came in, or did you join a team as well? Tell us a little bit about your team history.
Yeah, so actually, other than just, I think, one that I held for a brief time, I've never actually had to create a team with that 100 gems or whatever it cost there. I've always just joined, and then so I'm not actually the original leader of this team that I'm in right now. So to kind of get into the history of that, um, when the team's update first came out in April 2019, I think that would have been. I was not on the Fingersoft Discord at the time. I don't even know if it did exist back then, if they had set it up, but I was on the HillClimb Racing subreddit, and there was just kind of a. I think they still had that pinned post, that listed teams kind of thing, the first iteration of that. That I guess its in-game name is CPO had done there. Yeah, so I joined Reddit 4, and then went into Reddit 2 for a couple months, and then October 2019, um, probably about half or maybe 15, 20 guys in Reddit 2 joined over to a team called Reddit Racers, which was just a restart team. We had just kind of grown tired of some less than active people on Reddit 2 and just had made some acquaintances there and wanted to stick together. So I went over to this other Reddit branded team. Like I said, it was a restart team at the time. So back when the leaderboard just went to the bottom of the page at 10,000, and then once you cracked that, then whatever the trophies were at that point, then
Yeah, I remember the old style leaderboard. Yeah, do you miss those days with the old style leaderboard, or you reckon that we're kind of just too used to this new system now where we're in divisions? But what do you reckon
well,
about that?
that kind of goes back into like when Fingersoft revamped the standard, like when you used to win or lose 130 or 160 points, no matter if you won the match by 3K or 4K, or if you lost by just a slim margin. It was a little bit stale at that point, right? So when they did kind of add that in with the amount that you scored relative in the matches, the trophies that you earned, it is a good feature. Also has its cons, I guess, with the current state of leagues and the CC leaderboard being half the
Yeah,
teams are demoted. But
that's
overall, I
right.
think it was a good update, just kind of more reflective of just a team's truer position in some sense than just a team being able to restart and then climb back into the top 100. And I think it was a matter of 3 or 4 months at that time, just getting 160 trophies for easy wins. So
Yep, yep. Top, it was all about the top 100 back then.
yeah,
The reason to restart was more about building GP and some
it
skill
was,
set.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, at the time, like no one at that point on the team had max GP at that point, and we're just basically wanting to get those easy rewards and build up our accounts, and then just kind of have some internal competition of who could score the best. So as soon as we kind of hit, I don't even remember who the top teams would have been at that time, but as soon as we hit a point where we got like 3 bad matches in a row, we're like, "Hey guys, let's just make a new team shell and start our way up from the bottom again."
yeah. So after Reddit 2, where did you go from Reddit 2?
Yeah. So on the Reddit from Reddit 2, we all went over to that Reddit Racers team, like I said, and that was kind of the one that was just that essential restart team for a period of I think like before I even joined, it was just always a restart team. So um, we ended up doing a restart. I think the beginning of February of the following year, so February 2020, and at that time I had started doing some advertising because I had finally joined the Figuresoft Discord and was looking through the Reddit posts and that. So I had done some major work for the team in that point just to try to get some new recruits in, and I did end up earning a co-leader position later that month, so later in February there, and at that same point too, one of my guys we'll give a shout out to was probably one of my also right hand man at the time, Mr. Doc Ram, had the genius idea just slightly before I did to create a Discord server, which, as we all know, is pretty much probably the most essential part of building a successful team these days.
Yep. It's very true. Yep.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of slowly migrated everyone over to there. I know quite a few people had never even used Discord at that point. I had, so I was a little bit more familiar with it than some of the first timers for sure. But it was a pretty smooth transition. We had some less techie people that were just kind of scared of downloading this app, and they're like, "Hey, what's this?" But we got enough making it work pretty good.
Yeah, very good. And then after that team reset team, where'd you go from there? Where did Chaos come into the picture?
Yeah, so that's actually this current for Chaos or the new Chaos right now. This is still technically the same shell that I'm talking about. So April 2020, the old leader just, well, I won't go into it. There was a little bit of drama, and basically the rest of the co-leaders, so myself and a few other guys, just decided to oust him and say like, hey, either you leave or we do, kind of thing. So he ended up going off to another venture. And at that point, April 2020, I ended up taking over leadership, and we rebranded under. I'm not sure if you guys would remember us at the time. We definitely weren't as high up on the leaderboard back then as we are now, but we rebranded as Gone Wild HCR, if that rings a bell.
Yes, it's very familiar. I remember seeing that. Yeah, I do remember seeing that team, but it wasn't around for a while, was it? It changed quite quickly, though, didn't it?
Yeah, so we, as we'll kind of get into here, our merger history is quite a lot. We've done quite a few of them, and just some, I guess, what you consider mini merges or team acquisitions, maybe. But I think Gone Wild HCR is still probably my favorite name. I guess I probably shouldn't go into too much detail on the podcast, but it's a reference to the Gone Wild subreddit. So if you're over 18, you can look that up on your own time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the majority here, well, all of us are over the age of 18, and I think we know what you're talking about there, mate. And anyone else want to go Google that? Go for it.
I'm not 18, but I think I am digitally.
As soon as you see that video, you'll be 18 quick smart. Oh my goodness. Yes. Devastated, mate. Welcome to the show again. Where did you come into the scene? Where did you start your HCR2 adventure?
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Well, long story short, I guess I joined with Jordan back in the day. So, yeah, I'm dating myself. But,
I guess I'll just butt in quickly, Dev, and say that after we rebranded as Gone Wild, that the team Dev was leading was our first actual merge that we did. So it's a good segue there. He's going to kind of talk about his history and his team's history.
Yeah. So what team was that, mate? Where did you come into the picture?
It was called Busted Knuckle.
Busted Knuckle. If I'd seen that name, I would have joined that team. But I don't reckon I was looking up USA teams at the time. But if I'd seen that team, yeah, it sounds like that's a great name.
Yeah, so actually Ram, Doc Ram, or the many numerous names that he goes by, reached out to me. He was doing a public thing, hey, looking for team players, yada yada, mergers, whatever. I responded. He's like, yeah, absolutely. Busted Knuckle came in, and we joined up with. At that point, it was Gone Wild HCR. It was good.
So you merged in with them, and that was with Jordan's team at the time. And how many players basically came over then? Was it your whole team, or did you have a few inactives, or was it just a leadership group, or?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was pretty active. So, I mean, we had 50. I mean, they had a good 50, but they were top 100. So,
Yeah. And
yeah,
you just basically you aligned your players, and you just put the best players in the first team, and then you spread the rest out to the other teams, and you created a couple of others. That's kind of like similar to what AUSNZ did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the way you got to do it. So yeah, we've got history with that as well. So we had two major Aussie teams merge with each other, which created the foundation for the top team, and then we had a couple of other teams, Australian teams, come in with us as well, and then we just had a few people join on their own accord, and that's how AUSNZ was created. So, which was from Team Woke. Do you guys remember seeing Woke and
Down Underwear?
Down Underwear? That's right. Down Underwear and Woke. Do you guys recall seeing that on the old leaderboards?
Yeah, the Down Underwear, yeah, for sure.
I used to scroll through the team leaderboard quite a lot back in the old days, and I do recall Down Underwear, but I actually don't think I remember seeing Team Woke in my scrolling there.
Woke were always up there. Down Underwear were pretty strong. They were a good team. They were always around about the top 150 or inside the top 200. So yeah, they were one of the more stronger Australian teams at the time. Creepers will probably correct me on that one if I'm wrong.
Oh, you nailed it pretty good.
Yeah, can't really say for teamwork. I wasn't too sure on them, but yeah. Lupin, what about yourself, mate? Well, give us a bit of a rundown of your HCR2 history. How did you join, and how did you find Kaos? And yeah, where were your beginnings?
I actually was one of those that played HCR1, and one of my boys actually, and here I'm dating myself, but one of my sons discovered the HCR2. And yeah, I was looking around, jumped on a couple of teams, and they weren't very active. I wasn't very good, but yeah, Busted Knuckle caught my attention. It had a great name, jumped on there, and Dev was the leader. He was a great leader. We had a good core of active players. It was just a lot of fun. And I do remember, he was recruited quite a bit. He was by far better than anybody on the team. And he kept turning down recruitment attempts. And then I guess Doc Ram just talked sweetly into his ear, but accepted. We tested, he was cool about it. He checked with the guys and there was a good discussion. We had actually just started a Discord and very inactive because most of our guys just weren't really interested. So it was a lot of fun joining Gone Wild. Really enjoyed the organization of it and the teams. And for me, the community is a big deal. And so I stuck with Dev through all that and have just really enjoyed. Again, I enjoy playing. I enjoy the game, but the community's really been the strong thing for me.
Yes, I totally agree on that. You have a very similar view in regards to a lot of us here at AUSNZ, where we're very much a community. We're very much all about the community as well, and we just love playing with each other and making new friends and so forth. It's certainly like Discord has been a game changer. Like ever since I found Discord, I downloaded it and I got used to it, and I was like, oh, such a noob at it when I was like first downloading it. I didn't know what I was doing or what's roles, what are all these colors here, and I was just like, this reminds me of the MIRC days because I used to be on Merc, which was for the older generation like myself, is one of the first server chatting programs that used to have was IRC. And IRC was wonderful. I loved it. And as soon as I found Discord again, I'm like, this reminds me a lot like the IRC days. And I fell in love with it again. So yeah, that was my Counter-Strike days when I was playing. So he was talking, Jordan, about like, your like console and stuff like that. Do you have a PS5?
No, I've just been kind of monitoring the prices, and obviously the availability has been pretty poor, I guess, to put it in plainly. But I did kind of transition over to more of a PC gaming just in my later high school years. So I still have a PS4, but I haven't even turned it on in probably a good year or two, I would say.
Yeah, I sold my PS4 because I was planning on getting the PS5 and I never got around to doing it, and now I'm just playing the waiting game like yourself. Wait till there's a huge discount on it somewhere around Boxing Day sales or something like that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Black Friday or something too. You
Black
just gotta
Friday.
try to watch for those deals, but
yeah,
it's very
exactly.
time sensitive because it's either just bots or scalpers trying to get as many as they can.
Yeah, exactly. Eva, mate, you want to talk to the boys, ask them any questions? You got anything you want to say to the guys here?
Yeah, welcome, guys. Welcome. Great to have you on. Great to have you on. Great to have this sort of level of people on the podcast. But not only that, to have three of you on the podcast. What a massive undertaking in terms of getting it all together at the same time, all that sort of stuff. I really appreciate the effort you guys have put in to make that happen. So thank you. And yeah, like listening in and understanding where you've come from, where you've been, that sort of stuff is what gets me off. Because like you, the community is what keeps me playing the game. You know, through COVID and all that sort of stuff. Without the community, I would have gone absolutely bonkers alone in a house.
Yep.
For living in Melbourne in Australia, we were the longest locked down city in the world. So 265 days of lockdown, pretty much. So Discord and the game kind of became my little escape. And yeah, I've made some pretty cool friends, and it's nice to hear that the community is the most important part of the game, because to me it is the same. So it's good to have you here, and good to hear that you're in the same boat, if that makes sense, in terms of the community aspect of the game.
It does, and thanks. It's great, honestly.
I guess I should kind of had a drawn out answer and never actually got to the specific chaos part of the team iteration. So I guess I should maybe speed run that and sum it up quick, since we do have quite a long history there. So I guess I can just kind of
I'd-
run through the second half of this if you want.
I'd love to hear more. Let's go.
All right. So
Do it.
after we met Dev and Loop there, like we said, with their Busted Knuckle team, we ended up merging with them, which gave us our second team. We just, like I said, just had the one team at the time. So we had two teams at that point, and then just before Christmas time that year, we were approached by the top Canadian team at the time, which was known as I guess I'll call it KC. I've actually never asked them how to pronounce it, because it's KC # or #S, but we just call it KCs. So ended up merging with a large group from that team, and we rebranded as Gears Gone Wild. We wanted to keep the Gone Wild from the people that were from that side, and they came up with the Gears portion. So and then that following spring, we had started to kind of dip our toes into maybe some more international teammates, and ended up merging with a team called Sparta that unfortunately didn't work out completely best. We ended up keeping some really great and fun players from there, but there was some disgruntled ones that ended up not sticking around for some length of time. So with that point, that was when we actually rebranded as Chaos, and I guess I would say we probably became a lot more prominent in the community. And when servers like Fair Play, and obviously with being recognized on the leaderboard a bit higher, we kind of that was a factor too. So probably where you guys first heard of us, and like where Dev and GTR first met, becoming Fair Play moderators.
Very cool. Very cool. And where did Chaos come from? Like the name?
Right. So
Good question.
this is
More
we get this
particular,
we
the
get this quite
spelling
a
of
lot,
it.
and we have since we named ourselves that. So Chaos, if you were to Google it, it would come up as it has Greek roots. It's just basically the Greek word for chaos, like the actual correct spelling of it, CHAOS. And during when we merged with that group from Sparta, one of their members had suggested the new team name being World Chaos. Again, spelled correctly, not with a K at that point. So one of our more artistic guys on the team that does a lot of good work with basically team logos and wording and that, called Flip, who I know is going to be listening because he watches and listens to these podcasts, every single one. So I know
A massive
he'll
shout
be,
out to that legend. A huge,
he'll be
a
very
huge,
excited
Yeah.
to hear his name.
the biggest shout out to that legend, man.
He's a devoted viewer, devoted listener for sure. But he had done some just kind of wordplay, like I said, and he had kind of figured out that Chaos, spelled KAOS, did kind of look the best, just as far as, like I said, wording. And then he had done the team logo and stuff like that. So took a team vote and ended up just deciding it that way. Like I said, it does have some Greek roots. We have a lot of Greek players on the team, a lot of top alt accounts from would have been called Greece or RGW at the time, now known as Odyssey, and just really great guys that we've come to know a lot, and really strong players as well. So we kind of wanted to honor them in that way. And there is an additional reference to Get Smart, which hopefully some people recognize at least, but it was unintentional
Yeah,
at the time.
don't forget about the Get Smart reference.
Oh yeah,
The
it's there.
place is
It's
surrounded.
there.
There's thousands of agents. Would you believe? There's 10 agents?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
just me. I'm armed. Max was poetic license. He was amazing.
Maxwell Smart, of course.
Maxwell
Yes.
Smart. Yep.
So yeah, basically that's where the name Kaos comes from. It doesn't. I mean, there are acronyms if you look online. I think a popular one is it's either some kind of gaming clan. I'm not sure for which one, or just an acronym. It just means kill all on sight, and we did come across that as we were kind of researching the name. But it's not a direct relation to that. Like I said, it was just the main part being that suggested name of World Chaos, and then having the Greek roots, and then obviously Get Smart. Like I said, that reference was just a little bonus.
Yeah, yeah, that's because it's funny how you mentioned that little acronym there about the killing and stuff. Because HCR2 is probably one of the most non-violent games I've ever played. So apart from smashing your head every now and then on the mono wheel, but that's about it.
Yeah, it makes the players violent, but the game
that's-
itself isn't.
It's Daspo's speciality. He's listening in at the moment. Massive shout out to you, Daspo. But yeah, he's smashing your head on the mono wheel.
Mono wheel sucks.
That can get quite violent. You see Bill
Scooter
just
is
doing
not far
flips
off either.
and everything.
If there was an additional subscription in game to remove the mono wheel, I would gladly pay for that.
Oh, jeez, he won't be too happy with that comment, mate.
Button
I
words.
just want to irk him, so I'll unmute his mic.
We love you, Daspo. Now, okay, so and then Chaos pretty much jumped up the leaderboard straight away. It was certainly in the top 100 for a long time. And then when divisions came in, you guys have pretty much have stayed in the CC division. I don't believe you have been demoted to Division 1, have you?
Actually, our first season for leagues we did, it was pretty brutal. Actually, we ended up playing Legion and Reddit, not quite back to back, but I think we had 1 or 2 games in between the two, and just at the time, I think they like high 3K'd us, either like 3.4K or 3.5K. So that pretty much knocked us down enough, and even trying to do our best for the rest of the matches in the month, we just couldn't scrape by and finished. I think mid to like 50th or 55th, 57th, somewhere in there. So we did get demoted in that first month of leagues, unfortunately.
We won't count that. So yeah, no, don't worry. But yeah, similar to AUSNZ or have been in CCT, so CC division now. Since league started, we only got demoted last month. Was our first demotion, and that was just unfortunate. Just to some matching that didn't go our way, and and a couple of things, and we just missed out by about a couple of positions, and but yeah, we were consistently in the top 50 as well for a while. No thanks to some help from you guys as well, by the way. So thank you. But
Anytime.
yeah, it's
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, but now you guys are a bit more stronger because you guys have merged with one of the more popular worldwide teams known as the New Order. And
Yes.
how did that come
yeah.
about, and where were the discussions in regards to merging with the New Order? Because that is between Chaos and now the New Order. That's got to be probably one of the most strongest super teams created. You guys are a top 10.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, top 10 for sure. Who wants to take this?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, we'll have a crack.
Dev and I can kind of go into some of the more finer details since we've done the majority of it.
Just before you get into it, I just want to welcome Pete into the podcast. Pete, welcome, mate, to the show. You're a bit late, but
Thanks,
that's okay. I'll accept your late note later, so that's okay.
I've been listening in, Tears. Thanks for doing my segment, by the way.
It wasn't much of a segment, but that's okay. I tried.
You struggled through it. It was fine.
I struggled through it. I got through it, but yeah, it's okay. I think you can keep that segment, mate. I won't be touching that later.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll start by saying this merge with TNO has been amazing. Honestly, easiest. It's been great. Like Rex and Bear and everybody from TNO has been amazing.
And DA is a leader in TNO as well, which is he's known as Bro on the Fingersoft server, but Bro / DA, he was pretty good with the merger.
DA is
He's
Team
on the
2?
second team right now, so our second
Yeah.
CC team.
Yeah, okay, so
As far as the first team goes, yeah, I mean, Gary, Rex, Mox. I mean, these guys are top level players. Time and time again. They're just great. So it was easy. It was fun.
yeah, it sounds like it was a very good, quick, easy merger with no issues, no hassles. But were there many people saying where they want to go, which team they want to play on, or anything like that, or it was just quite an easy transfer? Everybody knew where they wanted to go.
Oh no, I mean you have all that. It's complicated, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much had it sorted out because typically you would just take a look at your numbers, your stats, and just pick your top guys and put them onto the first team, and then take the remainder and then put them onto the second team, and then so on and so on, right? So, with any merge, I think there's probably going to be a little bit of player loss, just whether they maybe don't think they're going to mesh well with a new group, or maybe not satisfied with the team they're going to be on at the time, and just don't feel like they want to work their way back up to whatever team they were on previously. So we had a little bit of player loss, but hopefully, or luckily, we did manage to minimize that as much as possible. So we have a really strong core, really great community, like we said before, and that's probably one of the number one things that does actually help for player retention is just making people feel engaged and involved in the community, whether they're even part of the leadership group or just a regular player, just one of the 50 players that make up the team.
Yep, exactly.
Also having both teams in CC division probably helps out with that, keeping players.
Yeah, it was getting kind of dicey. We were cutting her pretty close. I think we were 48th going into our last match against Nemesis SA there, and we were getting a little worried. We're like, oh, I wonder how many points we're going to end up needing, and we did manage to squeak in. So it did make that transition for having a second CC team definitely a lot easier.
Excellent.
Trying to do everything at the brief moment between season end and season start.
We
Very
had
good.
a couple. We had a couple of words to Nemesis SA, and I told AYM. I said, "Yeah, just get a couple players to leave and make sure Kaos win." Yeah, and he was like, "No, it's not going to happen."
I know. I had messaged AYM and I was like, because usually for a team leader, if I know them well and we're playing them, I'll send them just a friendly message just saying like good luck if they don't do it to me first. So I sent that to AIM and then I just said, oh, I'm pretty much tired of this team event already. And he comes back and he says, yeah, I put up one score, I'm done.
That sounds like him. He's funny. Him and Johnny, they just do one score. Yeah, that'll do. That's good enough for it. That's what they're like.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I had that mindset, but pretty much in most matches you can't afford to nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And
Go big or go home.
What was that, Def? Sorry, mate.
I said go big or go home.
Exactly. Now, whereabouts? So, Lupin, whereabouts are you? Are you in the first team or are you in the second team at the moment?
No, I'm I'm on the third team now, so I got demoted pretty hardcore. But no, this is what I enjoyed most about this transition and past ones is that the community really stands up, and you ask for players to move, and most of them are cool, whether they're moving up and maybe they're not comfortable being in the higher team, or moving down to make space. And that's what I appreciated the most. I did go to the second team briefly, but I moved because somebody else needed that spot, even before the first match. So again, I do the stats. I figure if I do some work, then maybe they won't get rid of me just because I can't score very well sometimes. But no, it's a lot of fun being part of a community that's willing to do whatever for the whole.
Yeah. Here, mate.
True
Very well said.
player. We need more people like you, team player. Just happy to
that
do what you
don't
need to do.
play very well.
Just happy to do. Go along with the flow. Don't put up any arguments.
Too funny.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. So, and where does Vereshak fit into all this? Did he have a say in what was going on, or did he just say, "Yeah, just put me wherever"? Or what's his role in the new team, new community?
So that's yeah. I mean, valid question. All right. Yeah. Bear does not talk a lot.
Yeah.
He's
It keeps
But he always puts up big
quiet.
score, so he doesn't need to.
yeah. I mean, he he keeps to himself. He does his thing, and that's completely fine. So if we're answering questions, yeah. I mean, he's an amazing scorer.
Oh yeah, he's
Um,
brilliant. But did he say anything like where he wanted to go, or he just said I'll just stay in team one, or has he joined your server?
He has.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So are you using your server as the main server, or did they want you to go to their server, or?
Yeah, so
Um,
we when we were kind of doing the main discussion, we had there were I think maybe a couple of those guys that were already in our server, that were already on TNO, so that was just kind of an easy transition there. But I don't think any of us were on TNO server, so we did just exchange invites back and forth for both between the leadership group. But then they just ended up, I think, putting it out to their one of their team member channels, and then we had like a massive inflow of all the TNO guys coming into ours. So at the moment, we do have, I think, most of the TNO portion has joined the Chaos server. And then, like I said, there's still over a few of us that are we're cross invited to the TNO, so both servers are still up and running, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, fair enough. No, it looks like it's worked out pretty good. And like I said before, you guys have just gone from wouldn't say like a medium range team or anything like that, but more so like you're really now a powerhouse in the CC division now. More so like a top 10 team. You can match it, like you've just proven you can match it with Rush National. So yeah, it's good on you guys. Congrats, Jordan, Dev and Lupin about the success of the new team, and looks like it's going along well.
Yeah, thank you. It's still early into the month, into our merger here, but I think we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna see just what kind of performances we can put up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking, but just before we go on to questions from a few of the listeners and things like that, there wasn't really talks between AUSNZ and Kaos, but let's go a little bit on the relationship between our two communities. We're all friends with a few of you guys, and a few of you guys joined our server, and we joined your server, and yeah, I think Innocence. His full name is Innocence, but he's just shortened for Inno. He posts a few things in your server from time to time. I see. He so
oh yeah.
there's a good you know all about that there, don't you, Dev? Now he's a good contributor in your server, and I don't talk too much in your server, but I read a few things, and I think we got a good relationship going. And there was a chance at one stage before your merger with the New Order, could have been a possible merger with AUSNZ, maybe, but I did speak about that with our leaders, with our team chiefs, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but our team chiefs just decided to go in a different direction. They just wanted to really keep it more solely New Zealand and Australian based rather than going international. But if we did go international, it would have been with you guys.
Because that's our brand.
It is our brand, and I mean, we didn't really want to lose our namesake and our brand and everything like that. But I mean, there were talks about that for sure. But it would have been interesting to see how it would have went. That's for sure. It would have been a pretty strong team as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the main part of that is obviously we wouldn't have the relationship that we do if it weren't for GTR and Dev kind of getting to know each other through fair play, right? So just that initial contact that helps, and like you said, doing that invite to the servers and everything too. But I should try to catch one of your PE mobs one of these days, but it's usually at a time when I'm doing something else and I see the ping
Yeah.
later. But I will. You can hold me to that. I will at some point try to join.
Yeah, we love our flash mobs. We haven't really had a good turnout in a while, but let me look. A few of our players are getting burnt out a little bit as well. Recent team events have really gotten players down a bit, and it's not the flash mobs have. There's still been people there, but it hasn't really been as multi jump. I would have thought we got a good turnout. Previous team of public event. However, nobody came online for that one. I was actually quite shocked, and it only went for about half an hour, and then it stopped. So we'll get you one for a flash mob one day, mate, for
I
sure.
might have to wake up early because it's probably like 3 or 4 a.m. my time
That's
when you guys are doing
probably
it. So
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for you. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was up at 2:30 this morning, so I'm sure you'll be able to do it.
You were up at 2:30 for money, though, Pete.
It's the same.
Okay, so Eva, Pete, is there anything you want to say to the boys before we move on? You came in a little later, and you want to say anything to the guys, to the lads?
Thanks for coming on. Basically,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's going to be a
Yeah.
good episode.
All right, so Jordan, Dev, Lupin, do you guys want to is there anything you guys want to say to the audience that are listening in at the moment? Not necessarily. We'll do shout outs a little later on. We'll do some mentions and stuff. Best to get a list together now while you can. But if you haven't
Sure.
prepared a list yet, start preparing one now. But yeah, Jordan, where do we go from? Where do you want to go from now? Were you listening to our conversation earlier about the screen ratios? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I was, yeah. So I'm also an Android fanboy. I'm probably going to be a lifelong Android user. I just hopefully that won't cause any issues. I just don't like the Apple interface, so don't shoot me. Um, but I've always had Android phones, and I've been playing HDR2 on basically all Samsung devices, all their Galaxy series. So starting from I think an S7, then an S9, S10e, S21, and now an S22. So um, I've never had a tablet or anything with a larger aspect ratio where I can see the ground ahead of time or anything else. That gives you a bit of an advantage with these tablet players or larger phone size players. And I was trying to think in my head when you brought up that point about if Fingersoft should restrict no matter what device you're using, just have every screen look the same. And on the one hand, I think that would maybe be a little bit fair for those that either, maybe they can't afford a different device to play on, or they just prefer the size of whatever their phone is. But um, on the other hand, if they were to make it maybe adjustable or force it to that bigger aspect ratio, then we know how beneficial that would be for doing stuff like multi jump and then even just seeing your landings ahead of time and stuff like that. So I'm pretty conflicted on that topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I like the idea of maybe freedom to choose what aspect ratio and just accept letterboxing on either the sides or top or something.
Yeah, what device do you play on, Lupin? What's your device?
Oh, I have a OnePlus 8 right now, so it's pretty wide. I did like it when they enabled kind of a wider screen, but it's always been a struggle. I'm terrible at the Kangaroo anyway. Maybe it's because I'm not Australian, but it sure seems like it would be helpful to have a taller screen.
Yeah, it would be.
You're in my club, mate. Me and you, we're similar. All these guys were pros at the Kanga. I don't know how to
You're
do
not
it.
Australian either.
Oh my goodness, I freeze up.
Yeah. Anyone younger than 16 years old, they're pros. Anyone older than 16, yep, terrible. Yeah, I'm not that bad, but if you talk to Muzz or Goose, yeah, they're up there.
Yeah, I got my youngest son into playing the game, and he embarrasses me. He's so good at the Kangaroo. The worst is when he sends me these challenges, and I'm just okay, whatever.
Or you send a challenge and he just annihilates it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so proud of the run, and then he's like, yeah, that kind of sucked.
And
I do that with my boy as well.
Good old Cortex.
Yeah, what device do you have, Dev? What do you play on, mate?
Same as Creepers, I think. iPhone XR.
Yep, that's the same as mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good.
Do
And
you
then,
also play with your forefingers instead of your thumbs?
Oh, yes.
I play with both, and my second account is also on the iPhone XR. So, yeah.
Pretty good phone, in my opinion.
yeah, it's a great phone, the XR. I'm an iPhone person. I'm a Apple person too. So
Is there a big difference in playability between the two?
not a huge difference.
I like Apple phones and Windows computers.
For anybody wondering if I can see more stuff on the iPhone, no, I can't see shit. I need an iPad. Yeah, it's bad.
Even with the iPad, it's it's better. Like you can definitely see your landing spots with multi jump and things like that. But yeah, it's the iPhone. I mean, hopefully with the next iPhone and future updates for HCR2, they can improve the ratios a little bit better. We can see landing spots with the iPhone and other phone devices.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But maybe they're not going to worry about that. But maybe because they're going to, like what I mentioned before, they might be going to console in the future, and they're probably thinking, "Oh, we might not worry about that. Just go straight to console," which is a great possibility.
Yeah,
You could.
could be. Yeah, could
The
be.
one thing I do like about my current phone, though, I don't know if iPhones, maybe the latest one has it, but maybe someone could chime in, is that unfortunately my alt account, it doesn't get the benefit because I'm still have my old S9 for that, but is the 120 hertz refresh rate on the screen. So it's so smooth compared to that standard 60. And I when I first got downloaded the game again on that phone, I noticed, just like I said, that smoothness, it just kind of popped out at me right away. And I think I'd have a tough time trying to go back and play on a regular 60 hertz screen, to be honest.
I think with some of those screen sizes and resolutions and the refresh rate, the device then becomes a major factor, whether the device can keep up with it or not, and whether you then get lag from the device. Because the Fold 2's, close to almost 3K in terms of screen size, and the thing gets quite warm in my hand. I can feel it, running quite fast to get it to do what it's doing. But I've got 12 gig of RAM and all that other stuff. So I think some of the newer iPhones that are smaller, that have the same sort of processing power, that can do 120 hertz refresh rate, are probably going to give you a smoother overall gameplay.
Okay. Well,
I'm really disappointed to hear you say that. I was just looking at an iPhone 12 Pro Max and thinking I can get a good deal on that, but now Jordan's saying that I got to go 120, so
No,
he just
but I'm
doubled
just
my
saying,
cost with one phrase.
in general, you got to think about the game is using obviously some sort of processing power to calculate what's going on, but then it's then got to do the video rendering and all that other stuff. And the other thing that irks me is the 3D sound now that's coming out of these phones. You can hear like there's certain the newer tracks have got 3D sounds, like the Reef Adventure Map and any of the cups in the reef. You can hear the noise of the water and the bubbles and all that sort of stuff in the background around you, and you can't turn that down or off. It's across the game. So when you get those sounds come in, I feel some of the slower devices, like my Alt on the Tab 8, really slow down.
People play the game with sound?
No. And this is the thing: you can turn off the background music, you can turn off sound effects, but you cannot turn off the 3D sound currently.
Oh,
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've turned off.
I guess
turned
I
off the
just
music.
always have my volume down.
Yeah. Oh, even with the volume down, it's still processing
It's
the
still
sound.
processing. Yeah.
It's just not amplifying it. So
Interesting.
you're not losing any. All you're losing is power, like battery power for the amplification, but you're not losing any. You're not gaining anything by turning the sound down because you're not. It's still producing the sound. It's just not amplified.
Interesting.
So
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Gabe, go for it, mate.
yeah, because I was always going to ask the question, and I was going to do this in the next couple of episodes, but maybe we need to be able to turn the 3D sound off. Maybe for low end devices, for people with low end devices.
Okay, guys. Now we have a new little Well, it's not really a segment. We can probably make it a segment, but one of our players in the AUSNZ server, her name is JR Jack Rabbit. Shout out to JR.
Yeah.
We love her. She's a great player, a great human being, and she's done up a little questionnaire for you guys, and you guys will be the first guests to do this little HCR2 questionnaire that she's done up. So what you guys can do now, if you want to go into the Discord server, into our little server here on the AUSNZ podcast, go into the questions channel, and you'll see that I've uploaded a little picture called "Have I Ever?" It's called the HillClimb Racing 2 edition. Have I ever? And it's 1 point for each. And what we can do is we can go individually, and Peach just pinged you in the channel, and we can go and ask you guys individually and see who comes up with the best points. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So
Finally, something I might be able to win.
Yeah.
all right. So
Okay.
I'm guaranteed a podium spot.
All right. So the first question is 1 point for each question. Is have you ever missed a team event?
That means like just a match and not the entire week, I assume.
Just a match.
Yeah, just a match.
Yeah, I'd say. It could be a team event. No, I'd
Just
say
a
match.
okay,
Yeah,
so that goes for all of us, I assume.
Yeah, it's a question.
Yeah, I'm afraid I've missed one.
I have as well.
No,
I think only
I have
one,
not.
though. You've never missed one?
I've
Wow.
never missed one. No.
Now, just remember, a bigger score in this is worse, not better.
That's
All right.
correct.
But
So getting 12 out of 12.
I also want to warn Devastator. I've kept years of data, so I may look back and just double check.
He's gonna pull that up in the meantime.
No,
We're not going to be that specific about whether or not you're lying.
no. Luke's
No,
gonna
I
check.
totally believe him.
Oh, he's gonna go back. Oh, he's gonna look. Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna
no.
factor alt accounts into this. I think Dev's lying.
All right, so we got Dev on 1 point. We got Jordan and Lupin on 0. All right.
Nobody said anything about alt accounts.
Okay.
He's bending rules already. We're only one question in.
Yeah, question 2. Ever hated a public event?
Oh,
I've hated a few for sure. So
I have hated most public events.
So we'll have to say
It's still only 1 point.
We'll have to put a 1 point for each of you there. So we'll put 1 point for each of you there.
Does it count when you go to complete it or go to tab out of the map and then your ad doesn't load for double points?
Well, that's don't you just hate that?
It only ever happens when I get 10.
Exactly.
And then the ad doesn't play. I'm like, you bastard.
Yeah, it only happens when you win the track. Third one is picked, and by the way, Eva or Pete, can you guys keep a score?
I've been trying.
Oh, I thought you were keeping a score.
No, I wasn't keeping a score. I was just reading them out.
It's a point for if you've never done it.
So Devastator's got 2 points because he's got the first two, and then Jordan and Lupin on one each. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm keeping score. I've got a pad and paper.
So you've never done it, so I've. Okay, yeah, I got 1
Yeah.
point.
Have you guys ever picked an easier map for the boss level, which is the little sneaky way? Reese is probably listening to this. Sorry, Reese. Is the sneaky way of changing the language in the game? Have you ever changed the language so you get an easier boss level map? Dev,
Is this
I'm
going
just
to be
gonna,
held against us?
yeah, Dev, I'm just going to put you a point anyway. I know you have.
It's
I
okay.
know
We
you
can
have.
bleep it out later.
Yeah.
You're just gonna
Yeah.
clip this part of the podcast and send it to the Fingersoft support, and we're gonna find ourselves banned next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. So who's going to answer first?
I see the strategy here now.
Oh my god, I could see Eshe and Reese having cracking up and laughing their asses off at this one.
No, I do
So-
this pretty much every time, where I do that reroll, or not reroll a task, but where you go to collect the task, but don't actually press that second screen to collect it, and it's quicker
Yeah.
than doing the change language. So
Oh, okay, so there's that way of doing it. I just go
let's
change
keep it
language
between us, so
sometimes.
it's just a little
Yeah.
team secret between us.
Yeah, shh, don't tell anybody about that, everybody. All right.
This better not end up on fair play.
Yeah, that's right. If it ends up on fair play with Dev, you and I can just delete it, so it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all
All
good.
right.
It's
Well,
not
we'll
the Fair
keep it
Play
out.
podcast.
Yeah.
We'll keep it out. We'll keep it out.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, scrapped legendary parts before excess.
Oh.
So I suppose everybody used to do that when they were newbies, I guess. But I suppose I did. But
I've done it on accident, and it's one of the most infuriating things.
isn't it?
Yeah.
worse?
I'm the same as Loop. I did it by
Oh,
mistake
man.
before they added the excess only screen.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a point. Yeah. What about you, Dev?
That's
Does that caught you off?
Yeah. Make sure you're on that page. Like,
Yeah,
only access only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
It's-
true.
That's the only time I'm glad that they cap it at 200.
Yeah, it's bad. So
Okay,
yeah,
now
no.
this next one's definitely a point for Dev. Used up all special tickets on a single run. You've done that before, mate. I know you have. All your 37k and 38ks, you've done all your special tickets, haven't you?
A lot, yeah.
I
Sure.
suppose everybody. Yeah. What about you
No,
guys?
hang on. It's very specific. It says, "Have you
Is
used up
that-
all your special tickets on one single run?" So you've gone in,
Oh.
you've stuffed
Oh,
it,
yeah.
One
you've
track.
used one, you've stuffed that one, you've used two, and then that's it.
Yes, I
Mm.
did. Actually last match against Rush National.
There you go.
Yep.
But have you, before the 4-ticket system came in, where you could use as many tickets as you want, how many is the most you've blown?
I'm not ticket rich like Jordan. Ask Jordan how many he has.
We don't need to go into that.
We don't want to go there. Yeah,
I
So
think
that means
I did
Jordan's never
16
used the
once.
ticket.
No, I
Um,
will get a point for this one because going back, like I said, because my first major team was a restart team. It was obviously easy ticket collecting and no point using them. So I've basically had like over 100 for the majority of my HCR2 career. So there's no way I would use them all up on a single run ever, unless I was either intensely infuriated or extremely drunk.
and I was thinking that question leads into the next question.
Well, hang on.
which-
We haven't heard from Lupine.
Oh, Lupin, sorry, go for it.
I think one time I did a rage event where I think I hit the 16. So I'm very happy that there's a cap now. I rarely spend tickets, but when I do, it never goes well and it escalates quickly.
Absolutely. And that question leads into the next question, which is, have you ever had a perfect 40k score?
Oh,
I have not.
Jordan, this is a good one. So in our team server, we had I guess it was going for a while. The biggest score was pinned to the general team chat.
Yes, I'm just going back now to see.
Yeah, we're going back like years. So I held it for a long time. And then Just Me
Yeah.
beat me, and he took it over. But I'll let you tell that story. Go ahead.
But I think they were. I just trying to find the post, and it must have been unpinned, or maybe it's in a different channel. So we'll keep looking. But I think you had. Oh yeah, here we go. So we had back in the Be Like Water event, which was November of 2020. Looks like November 29th, 2020. Dev hit a 39-130 in one of our games, and he held that for what is this here? About 6 months, it looks like, and then just me hit a 39.2. So. And as we're seeing in this current team event, we've seen like 39.6. So obviously it's being beaten now. But at the time, Dev did have the team record for the highest score. But unfortunately, no 40Ks among myself or him. And maybe Loop had one that we're not aware of before he joined us, and he's hiding it.
Yeah.
I've had a 40K before, but that was in a 5-stage event.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's
there you
true.
go.
Perfect 40K.
That's true. So that would be an imperfect 40K.
Right, so I think we could safely say 0 for every 40 of that. Falling asleep while grinding adventure maps.
Yes.
What's adventure?
Yeah, exactly. What is adventure?
No, I'm out. Nope.
All right.
King close but never fallen asleep.
Yeah, okay.
I've never fallen asleep.
Took a long break from playing HCR2.
How long is long?
More than a week.
I don't think so.
No.
Oh yeah,
No, I don't think I've done more than a week.
Oh, okay. Now the next one is rage quit at some point in time where you've thrown the phone and smashed your screen somewhere.
no smash screens, but yes, I've walked away from the game more than a few times.
I'd say I've rage quit a few times and smashed my phone on the lounge, but definitely not on the tile floors.
Yeah.
I'm smart.
So
I throw it at my couch so it doesn't break.
yeah, my phone is still intact, but I definitely went full Hulkster on it. Took the phone, put it in my hand, smashed it on the couch like I was actually doing something damaging to it. It cried. That's it.
Yeah. Kicked
Jordan?
a tape. Oh,
Hang
sorry,
on.
do we
Jordan
miss one?
hasn't answered.
Oh, Jordan, sorry.
Oh, you missed it? No, I haven't taken more than a
You
week
haven't?
break from. No.
No? Okay, cool.
And have you rage quit, mate, at any point?
Oh
in
yeah, I
time?
was reading the wrong question. Sorry. No, I have definitely rage quit. I've had some very frustrating team event runs that just didn't work out with the physics or whatever else. So that's definitely happened.
We could talk about the track on the old team event with the scooter and on Forest. We've had a couple of rage quits from the crashing over the top of that, and also the monster truck flipping over on the bricks. Yeah, during the week I almost broke my phone for that. That was shit. Oh man, tell you what. Okay, kicked a team member by accident.
Physically, or just kicked them off the team?
I'd say kicked off the team. Yeah.
Was that a question?
Yes.
I'd say, yeah. Have we ever kicked anybody by accident? I think I have once or twice.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're pretty organized.
I don't think we always do it on purpose.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have ever kicked anyone by mistake, but we've definitely opened someone's license while scrolling and unpromoted them, and then quickly had to re-promote them again from co-leader.
Sounds like something Mad Max does.
Yeah.
That's happened. Yeah.
I would say there's a point for everybody in this next question, but ban some idiot from the team server or Fair Play server. I've banned people from Fair Play, so has Dev. So that's a point for Dev as well. But what about the team server for Lupin and Jordan?
That's one of those joys in life, being able to do that.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely one
looking at
for
our
you.
ban lists, and I know for sure we've had some undesirables come in that we've had to purge. So I know that all three of us are guilty.
A lot of times
Yeah.
we mock them into leaving on their own, though.
Yeah.
That's
That's
true.
also
We have
another
a lot of
fun thing
fun
to
with
do.
some people joining.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
what makes
last
it fun.
And the last question is have you done a face reveal on Discord? Well, we tried to get a photo earlier in the podcast, listeners, but we didn't really succeed in that. We will attempt to get a Discord face reveal with the boys after the podcast, but we're only going to see that.
Yeah, we're only going to see that. So that
We're-
does not count.
That does not count. That's right. Do we have a score there, Judge?
Hang
Eva?
on.
Hang on, but they haven't
I
answered
have
yet.
the scores. They haven't answered yet. Let them
Oh,
answer.
okay. Oh, okay. I was assuming no for that answer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When have you done one? I haven't seen it.
Everybody knows what it looks like.
You haven't shown me.
Jordan, show him.
Let me
Oh,
go
okay.
into my dev folder here and just pull up the best picture.
Yeah. Just post a picture in the podcast server. That's for sure. You go for it.
What about Jordan? Have you shown your face?
On a server that I have with some friends, like longtime friends since high school, but actually not our team server.
Okay, that's fine. And Lupine?
I actually did recently, didn't I? I think I was in one of our leader channels, and I posted
We've
one.
seen
Which
so many
always a
fucking pictures
mistake.
of you. Yeah, it's
Oh,
crazy.
that's true. Yeah, Flip has done some miracle work with some of my pictures. So yeah, I guess I have.
Okay,
Well,
well in that
I
case,
especially like the one
Absolutely.
with the cadaver dog sniffing around my body on the beach.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh yeah.
classic.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
well in that case, we actually have a clear winner. It was tied for a fair bit. I'll start from the bottom, work my way up, unfortunately. So unfortunately, Dev, you're at 8 points.
Well, that sucks.
Which puts you in third, which is still better than fourth. But there's only 3 players, so you're kind of last.
It's still a podium.
It's still a podium. Yeah. I mean, there's so
Great,
many
great.
pluses and minuses to this. Lupine, you're on 7 points, which puts you in the middle in second place, and that kind of leaves only one person left. So Jordan, you're our winner on 6 points. You, as a prize for this, you get nothing. You're
we could probably give you a role on the server. But, you know,
I've been
you're not
looking
going to.
forward to that this entire episode.
Actually, we'll probably make a role. Yeah.
sorry,
We'll probably-
we hadn't thought about prizes or anything like that. And when I said
Yeah.
prize, I thought, oh my god, what am I going to give us? You can have our love and devotion forever, for eternity.
Yes, and we'll create a role on the server to say you're the
Do you know what?
competition winner.
You could go down to the pub and get yourself a beer. How's that?
Oh, that works perfect. I'll put it on your tab.
All right, guys.
They call it tavern though, don't they? They say it's tavern, not pub, in America, Canada. They say to go down to the tavern. All right, we'll get to some questions from the viewers. Eve, do you want to start us off with a couple of questions? Oh, I'm gonna go looking.
I've already asked a question that was from Creepers about where the name came from. And you've already answered the bit about the history of meaning of the spelling behind it. So I just wanted to mention Creepers has actually asked all of that. So shout out to Creepers, although you're actually in the podcast. Coconut, one of our podcast guests, has actually asked the question: what has been your so far favourite team to play on?
Or was it favorite team to play? Was it favorite team to
It
play?
says favourite team to play, and I took that as play on. But no, let's go the other way. Let's go. What so far has been your favourite adversary to play against?
That makes more sense,
Yeah, that does make more sense.
especially if it was from Coconut, because
Yeah, not too familiar.
all right. Well, who's gonna speak up?
I think
Man, can I answer it?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
for it. Go.
Well, I know it's not shout out time, but we have an awesome leader named R. Diddy. And he is the master of matching, and he managed to match 2 of our teams against each other once. So that was kind of cool. I think he misread the instructions. We do not want to match together, and said, "Oh, we should match together."
Fantastic. That's brilliant.
Yeah, we can't top that. We'll stick with that.
TC Team 1 matched against our Team 2. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think the name of the team event, it also suited the situation perfectly because I think the name was something along the lines of like "Don't Hate, Coordinate" might have been it.
Yeah, it was.
So your answer is your favorite team to play against is yourselves.
No, I think if we look
that's right. It was don't hate coordinate. That's so cool.
Did you look it up? Yeah, a little funny coincidence there. But I think if we look at any matches post leagues, because it'd be a little bit easier just to remember. It seems like pretty much every season we end up playing the guys from I think they're currently called Last Call, or also known as Dumpster Fire. I think they ran with that name for a couple times. So always a good back and forth with those guys, and very strong players on that team too. I think with AUSNZ, we played you guys maybe 3 times. I don't know what our record is against each other, but it's always a good bout with you guys too. Some back and forth and lots of high scores there to really incite the competition. So definitely give you guys a pat on the back for that one. I know Sharks we've had some close games with since leagues. And then I guess I should point out the TNO match that we had in mid-May, just before we did merge with them. That was it was very exciting for our team to even be at that level of competition, and just to kind of recognize how far we've come. That we still did take a slight loss there. I think it was about 200 points again, and that we lost against TNO. But like I said, win or lose, it was still a great signal that or the achievements that we've made as a group.
Yep, fair enough.
Excellent.
Sounds like a good segue into the merger with TNO.
Oh,
maybe.
it is.
Can interrupt the community questions. I guess that fits in well.
Yeah. Yep, I'd say go for it.
All right. I guess I did forget to point out one merger before, as I was kind of describing the team history. So I will shout out that we did merge with Kick and Asphalt too. I think in September of last year. So we brought on a few very good guys from there and added to our leadership groups. So that was our one before we did the TNO merger. But as we'll go into that, I'm not sure exactly for how long, but just in recent memory, last a month or two, we had kind of been sourcing out some teams that Kaos might have wanted to merge with. We know a lot of people in the community, and obviously has some close friends in teams like AUSNZ, for example, and some other ones. And we just kind of, I guess, the same point that you guys were at, where you're like, what do we want to compromise on, and what path we want to take, where do we want to move forward, and how to do it. But we had reached out to a few teams and had some small discussions and didn't lead anywhere. And then one of the guys from TNO ended up messaging one of us, and then set the discussion up, and then it kind of went forward from there. And we had, as Dev can kind of chime in too, we had, I guess, similar goals, so that made the process a lot more efficient. And obviously, with the state of teams around us, with some very strong merges lately, that if you want to make sure you're still maintaining your position as CC, you kind of have to keep up with the competition.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Very good. Yeah, no, you guys are really doing, you guys, like I said before, are definitely a top 10 team now, so looking forward to seeing some of the matches that you guys can play against some of the more higher teams like North and Asylum. Just name a few. What was the other team? Of course, Unity is up there as well, always, and a few others. So yeah, it'd be good to see some of the matches that you play in the future.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I have one of my favorite questions that I want to ask. I love asking these questions. Obviously, one of my favorites. I suppose we can go to each individual, and you can name your top 5. But let's just do internationally. If you had to pick a team of 5 players, 5 HCR2 players, including yourself, so 4 players plus yourself, who's the 4 players you would pick in your team? Who wants to start that one?
That's a tough question.
It is tough, but it's a fun question.
Okay. So I'm going to go with Rex.
Yep, good choice. Rex, he's up there. He's a fantastic player.
And Leo.
Is that Leo Lu?
Yep.
Wonderful player. He was in Creeper's team. Who Creepers
Yeah, that's
said
correct.
last week, wasn't that right, Creepers? Yeah. Yeah, he's a great player. Fantastic player. Next, your third choice?
Cool dude.
Cool dude. Yeah, he's a
Yep.
player that doesn't get mentioned every now and then. He's a fantastic player as well. Great team event player, and yeah, he's a good. I think he's from the US, isn't he?
No,
Canada.
he's Canadian.
Canadian. Oh,
He's got
okay.
one of the highest adventure points or whatever you call it within Canada
In
too. I think.
Canada.
Not sure what rank he is exactly, but he's definitely up there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And your fourth and final player.
I'm gonna have to go with Luigi.
Luigi. Now that's obviously not our Luigi. That's a different Luigi. That's your Luigi from Chaos.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great team.
Greek player. Yeah.
Jordan, what about you, mate?
All right, so I guess I'll pick some names that that are on other teams that I would like to play with sometime in the future. I guess in like an ideal dream team type thing instead of the ones that
Yeah, this
I'm
is
currently
more a
playing
dream.
with. So
This is a dream team type scenario. I don't know if Dev knew that, but this is your own personal like best team that you can make up, your fantasy team.
okay. Because the funny thing is, I guess until we actually did just merge, I would have picked guys like Leo and Rex and obviously Verishak and that. So that takes away 3 of my answers. But
Go for it.
I know that one guy when I was first starting to watch like YouTube videos and that was just really impressed by his scores. Was I know he's come up in like previous podcasts and stuff, and other things I've mentioned is Cannon to Space. Seems like a really top all around player.
Fantastic player. He is great choice.
And another one I would think of. I always see screenshots of his scores everywhere. That again, very good, very very talented player. Probably one of the best in the community would be Razor from the leader of Unity there.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And get going.
And for number 3, I got to really think about this. If I want to make a dream team, I guess I'll pick who I might think might be the best all-around player considering all the game modes. We'll do Linus. I don't think I can not mention him.
Yeah, he's in pretty much everybody's team. Yep. And is it the fourth one now? Last one?
And the last one I'll do, I think I'll pick this guy just again based off skill and because we've known him for a long time and he's in our server and tends to chat not infrequently. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to play together yet. But I'll give a shout out to Bugs Bunny. They're currently on Legion GT.
How good's Bugs Bunny? Such a good character.
Yeah, he's great. Fantastic player. Great guy too. I love talking to him. Great guy. Pete, do you want to ask the lads a question? We want to
Yep. Okay. So, got a question from Rexu. He goes, "You know what's coming. So, what is it?" For those, if you don't know, I'm disappointed. And it's, what is your favorite type of cheese?
Gouda. Okay.
Favorite type
So
of
first
cheese.
of all, who did this come? Who?
That
How
question
do
is
we
from
know
Rexu.
you're going to? How do we know you're going to ask that question, Pete?
I love this question. It's just fun.
Well, I'll speak
Fun
up.
question.
I am not a fan of sharp cheeses, so I like provolone.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
never
Provolone,
heard of
it's
provolone?
Italian cheese, the hard cheese.
Okay.
Mum used to have a big block of it in the fridge all the time. There was always provolone in the fridge, ready to go.
Sounds nice.
It's wonderful on sandwiches.
Hmm.
So pepper jack for me.
Very good.
I like that too.
And there's no Lupin still, is there?
I think I'm gonna have to just go with Monterey Jack. I'll choose that.
How very adventurous of you.
Right answer. Good job.
All right. That's good job, guys. Thanks for that.
Eve, what about you, mate? You want to ask the lads a question? Just to let you guys know, we want to probably get through a few questions as quick as we can because we're going a little bit over time here, and I think Dev is a bit tired, so we'll get through a couple of questions and then we'll move on to some shout outs.
Sure.
Oh, good.
Go for it, Eve.
All right, so there is a question from Tessa Cat, and it's specifically to Jordan, and it is, how does it feel to be the leader of a team with such a great player as Vereshak?
Oh, that's a great question, Tessa. I think the word that immediately comes to mind is fortunate, because if I look at, as we kind of go back and say the community is a big aspect of the game, that I know without a doubt that I would have dropped this game a long time ago if the Discord community wasn't here. I didn't have all these great friends that I made along the way too, because I just tend to lose interest in stuff like this somewhat quickly. But I think the fact that I've been a part of this group that I have for so long, and that we seem to have been very successful and chosen great people to join up with. And then now that we're in a position where we have some of the best players in the world on our team, that I think it's very humbling to see them always have these great scores, and then me myself being maybe somewhere in the top middle of the leaderboard. So it's a great experience no matter what, to see that these guys just consistently knock it out of the park no matter what. And they're also great around, like, all around people too. So it's not just that they score and then that they're not great people to talk to or anything. So to have someone like of the caliber of Vereshak, who is without a doubt probably the most recognizable face in the community, it's unlike anything else, honestly.
Yeah, I hear you. I was on one of the ZZ teams before it became Legion with Kevin, and I felt,
Oh yeah, Kevin. Yeah.
I felt absolutely gobsmacked because I was scoring as best as I could, and I was in like 82nd place. And my scores were not bad, but they weren't amazing. But to then scroll up and scroll up and scroll up, and to get into the top 20, you needed to be over 37-ish K. And it was just like, I got 34. I'm in 90th place. So but yeah, I like to see, and it's not just doing it once, but doing it every single time he plays. It's pretty awesome.
Great performance, honestly, from all of them.
Yeah, no, like Dev said, it's a great group of guys, and we seem to have similar mindsets. So I think this is going to work out really well, and strength-wise, we're going to be the best we've been in our entire history.
No, very cool. What about you, GDR? You got a question for him?
Well, there's a couple of questions, but there's a funny question. I've got two questions. There's a funny question, and then there's another question from Jackrabbit or JR. She comes up with some beauties, I tell you. I'll tell the funny question first. This is from Dreddy. Have you checked your bumhole?
For
This is a specific question from Dreddy to you guys. He wants to know if you've checked your bumholes.
Last I checked, it's all good.
Do you guys have you guys seen the video for that song? I'll have to share it in the team channel. It's an actual song. Did you know about that?
No,
No, I didn't.
not at all.
Dev, you'll love this anyway. I'll get the link on YouTube and I'll post it in the general channel, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So he will have a crack up with that one. Anyway, a more serious question is from JR. How do you manage playing multiple accounts in HCR2? Your leadership roles in the new Kaos team, pit crew, or beta testing for Jordan? Jordan, are you a beta tester? I didn't know that.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And fair play mod for Dev, and work and everything else in between, and life in general. How do you balance? I think what JR's probably trying to say is, how do you balance everything in regards to your HCR2 accounts and your real life stuff? I think.
So I'm gonna. Jordan can answer that first. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So, I guess the thing is, like I mentioned, all three of us have two accounts, our main and our alts, so we kind of can both provide, or all provide, the same perspective on it. But I know for myself that being the team leader for as long as I have, one of the most important things is just delegation within your leadership. Because if I were to have to handle everything myself, I would have been completely burnt out long ago, and probably wouldn't be on this podcast right now or playing the game. It would have just been too much to handle. So you want to play it a year, admins strengths and weaknesses, and just work off of each other. It's one of the most important parts of team building and making sure you run a tight ship. And obviously that leaves you time to play the game, because most of it is actually just being on Discord. To be honest, I spend more time in a day just recruiting or just keeping up on chatter on the server than I do actually playing the game. But you still have to make that time to play the game modes, and just if you get a really bad task like wheelie 500 meters with formula, I just don't do it. So you have to know your own limitations too, and just don't have to strive to get everything completely done in the game if it's not going to be enjoyable, because it is a game and meant to be enjoyable too. um, and as far as I guess you touched on like being a beta tester thing, I won't really go into detail. It's like we mentioned before about not violating any agreements or whatever. So I just became one recently, and it's a good time. I do enjoy it, but I won't go into anything else further than that, just to protect myself.
Yeah, no, I don't. You got to agree to the the NDNA, mate. So very important. As you know, Pete and Eva are also beta testers, and we've got to keep quiet on a few things. And yeah, as long as you guys do your job right and everything, it's good to have that role. So good on you for getting it.
Yeah, thank you. No pit crew
Oh.
though. That's unfortunately I'm not that elite. I'm just
Nah.
one step below.
Yeah, pit crew is pit crew is very. It's a step above everything, isn't it? Like, I mean, it really is. It has to go to the most worthy, the most who's deserved it, and I think the current pit crew we actually have a pit crew member listening in at the moment. So, don't know, shout out to Daspo, but no, all the pit crew guys, yeah, they all deserve it in their own way. So.
Yeah, they're handpicked, and they all have their own achievements that made FS
Yeah.
recognize them. And we've been actually fortunate enough to play with Daspo, and Solus is another pick crew as well. He was on our team for some length of time here. So
Absolutely. And speaking of Solus, we'll mention him in just a little bit from now. But okay, so Eva, we'll have one more maybe, and then we'll go on to our last little bit.
Yep. This is a question from Swiss Cheese, one of probably AUSNZ's amazing players. Big shout out to him. So what does AUSNZ have that Kaos doesn't, that Kaos wishes it had, ? And he's given an example, which is a bit of tongue-in-cheek jab at someone that we've already spoken about, i.e. a Willy Wanker leader with dreadlocks. And that's Willy Wanker is a reference to the fact that he works in a chocolate factory and has dreadlocks.
And is a wanker.
And in case you didn't know, we're talking about Dreddy.
This is a tough one. You know, Austin's is great. They are. I mean,
So what does AUSNZ have that you guys currently don't have? Well, I suppose you don't have Swiss Cheese. He would make a great addition to you guys.
That's true.
Yep.
We do not have
Other than really cool accents.
Yes.
What are you talking about? You're the one with the accent.
Yeah, you're the one with the cool accents. What are you talking about?
I think personally, I think one thing is that, like, we did mention our community and our server, but you guys easily have, I think, within the community, the largest server that exists, if I'm not wrong on that. I know that the UL server was pretty big at one time too, but I think you guys still have more members and then more channels and everything than they did.
It's not. It's up there. I don't know if it is the actual biggest, but it's definitely up there. I'm not sure in regards to channels and things like that, because I can't really compare to other servers. I'm only in a few.
Yeah, it depends on whether you're talking about members or you're talking about channels, because, like, you know, Vereshak's server would have 12,000 members.
Right.
But we have a very broad spectrum of channels that try and join the people together through common interests.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just clicking on Vereshak's server. I think he is. Oh, okay. Doesn't give me a number because I'm not an admin, but I'll try and get a number for you guys. But we have about just under 900 in our AUSNZ server, but most of the majority of that are community members. They're not actual members of the teams. We have a few teams, but we
Hey, GTR, just
yeah.
click on the top of the three dots up the top, and it should tell you how many members there is.
What, in
Like
our server or the
no,
Vereshak server?
Shack server, when you're like selecting a channel that has like the banner up the top, and there's three little dots there. If you click on that, it should tell you how
Oh
many
yeah,
members.
that's a mobile feature only if he's
Oh,
on.
is it?
Yeah, I'm on the laptop, mate.
12,358 members
Oh, there you go.
with
Yep.
260 of them online.
Yep. Yeah,
And
so
for
his
you guys,
server.
will pull yours up. So you've got 885 members and 83 online right now.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep. Yeah, it is. We're proud of our server, and I think our server is relatively it's not overly busy too. It's not flooded with too many people talking, and we don't get anybody. We haven't really banned anyone for a long time. It's a good server to talk in, and most of the people in our server are I'd say adults, probably over the age of 18. There wouldn't be too many. We have a special channel for under the age of 18. We have a young stars channel, which all the young kids hang out in, which is moderated by the Chiefs and a few other things. So it's relatively pretty good. So we are proud of our server, and as should you guys. You guys should be very proud of your server as well. It's very active. It's fun to it's a couple of channels that I love viewing every now and then when I'm by myself. So Devastator will know all about that.
Nope.
But,
Nope.
but yeah, no. In all seriousness, I think both our communities have great Discord servers and community in general. So, that's a good question from who was that one from? Eva? It was a good question
Swiss
from
cheese. Swiss
from
cheese it was.
Cheesy. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we should probably start wrapping up now. It's getting a little bit on time. Let's firstly let's just can you guys do any shout outs in particular that you want to do from the game or anybody in your own personal life or anything like that. Give us a shout out. So let's start off with you, Jordan, mate. You want to give us a shout out to anybody that's listening in or anybody in the HCR2 community?
Sure, I'll do. I guess one of our Team One co-leaders asked. He did ask he had a question that he wanted to pose when we announced that we were going to be the guests on this episode, but a little bit tongue in cheek. He just asked, out of all of our successful and failed merges, what was I guess directed to me, what was my favorite one? And so I think that's a loaded question. I'm going to have to pick the one that he's on. So it was Memphis that asked that question, and he was part of that KC's group that we merged with. So to make him happy, I will select that as my answer. And there is a little bit of sincerity in that too, because if I look at our admin group right now, they make up a good portion of it, and they significantly help transform the team into what it is today, along with all the other teams we've merged with. But it's we really started to revamp things a lot and kind of make a name for ourselves when that group did join us. So
Beautiful, mate. Anybody else in particular you also want to in the vast community of HCR2, other servers and anything like that, or that's about it?
I didn't think of anyone specifically, but I know that we've, like I said before, made a lot of friends along the way that are probably listening right now, and we love interacting with everyone and trying to meet new people, and then obviously helping each other out when we can. So, for everyone that I've ever interacted with, either in a DM or a server or anything, just know that I appreciate you, and that I wouldn't be the leader I am today without learning from some very knowledgeable people in the community and some great friends too.
Yeah, a couple of shout outs to a couple of guys in your server, which is that I know of that I think are great people. Is KGB who was in our server, is a fantastic lad to talk to.
Yep. Yeah,
Flip,
it's great.
Flip, as you mentioned before, is a favorite of ours, and we love Flip. Especially finding out that he used to play in a band that I used to listen to years ago, which was quite fascinating. So yeah, that's good old Flip.
Yeah,
And
no,
then,
I did my shout outs during our team history, so I won't take up too many. I'll leave it to Dev and Loop to rattle them off.
yeah, and then you've got your server managers. How many server managers do you have, Jordan?
3 technically, so that would be myself obviously, and then like I mentioned, Ram or Doc Ram we call him, who actually owns the server because he, like I said, had that idea just a little bit before I did to make it, and then Lupin is actually our 3rd server manager with full admin rights too. So just the 3 of
Yep.
us kind of overseeing everything, and then a strong handful of admins that do some other great work too.
Yep, beautiful. Dev, mate, any shout outs? You can do a couple of shout outs to your fellow Fair Play moderators if you want, or anybody in particular who you want to have a shout out to.
Yeah, I mean, we have, I guess, for the merge, I mean, we get Rex, Bear, Moxie, so many. I mean, I can go on and on, but it's been a great experience. Good people.
Yeah, okay. And you want to give a shout out to your boss on the Fair Play server, mate. AYM will never forgive you if you don't have a special mention to him, and also Johnny as well. Otherwise, the boys will. I think we'll have to take your rights away from you. But yeah.
Yeah, they might. Johnny, AYM,
Cobra.
get up off your butt.
Yeah, Cobra, Machine. Yep. Machine and a few of the other boys I'm missing, and of course Tay, our beautiful Tay. We love her. So yeah. Is Lupin? Is he around?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
You're here. Okay, you're back, mate.
I am
You
here.
missed out on a couple of things, but that's okay. Mate, is there any shout outs do you want to give to anybody listening in the HCR2 community as well? Any shout outs particular?
Yeah, a couple. Have a good friend, Core, we've played with quite a bit. That's doing some other things for right now. There's RSV4, another good friend of ours. I had my alt on a team over 50, which kind of shows how old I am. But great team, great guys there. So shout out to them. And then my own son plays under the name Cortex on our team. So want to do a shout out to him.
Beautiful, mate. That's
Excellent.
awesome. Yeah, that's a good point. Somebody in the server, I think Daspo was saying. Daspo was saying, Lupin, did you get a chance to give us your dream team, mate? I think you dropped out. Did you hear the question about your dream team?
I heard the question. For some reason, my mic wasn't connecting.
Yeah, that's okay. So give us your fantasy league HCR2 4 top players that you would love to be in your would be your team.
Well, since I would be the weakest player, I would certainly target ones that aren't afraid of helping others, which kind of seems to fit the ones that put out the videos. So, Bacope, is it Bacope? Bacope?
Yep, Bacope. Yep.
And Vereshak.
Yep.
Would be another one. Gotta have my Bud Devastator on there.
Oh, of course.
Just because he's always been patient and let me tag along. And oddly, I would want Daspo on my team just because if you had the mono wheel event at all, I would be terrible at it, but I'd love to watch the replays.
He's blushing right now. He's probably going, "Oh, thank you so much." Yeah. God, I love it. Good choice. Great choice of players, mate. That would be quite a strong team indeed.
Well, it'd be a fun team. I don't know about strong, but it'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. That's a very strong team. Don't get you wrong. I mean, Vercope's no pushover. He's got talent. He's a great player.
Oh yeah.
Even though he's done a couple of wrong things in his time, but we'll forgive him for that. But we won't go into that. But and of course, you're saying Vera's amazing player as well. So In the main channel. Daspro's giving you a bit of love there, Lupin. Eva, any last thoughts on the show before we wrap it up?
I just wanted to say it's been great listening to your journeys and the team, how it's bounced around and all that sort of stuff. Really look forward to editing this episode, and yeah, it's been great to have you on. Thank you for, like I said before, thank you for managing to, stay up late, stay up early, do this, do that, do whatever you could to be on the show. So thanks again.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Here.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, lads. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It's been we could go on for hours and hours and hours, and got so much. We've actually missed a lot of questions from the listeners, and guys, we apologize for that. We've just run out of time. We've just gone overboard, and guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a great couple of hours to talk to you, and yeah, thanks for we'll have to have you back on one day, and we'll do it all again.
Oh, we'll definitely come back. I really want to thank you guys again for inviting the three of us and allowing us just to kind of go through our history and chat with you guys this whole time. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Pete, mate, any last Pete Creepers? Any last words for the boys?
Yeah, it's been really good having you guys on. Really enjoyed listening to your history and just reiterating what GTR has said, Neva. Just love listening to your backstory, and be happy to have you on again sometime.
Beautiful, absolutely, Pete.
Yeah, more of the same. Sorry I missed out on the first half, but it's been great listening to your accents and your stories and everything.
How dare employment come in between your HCR2 duties
At
and
least
your
I got to
podcast
listen.
duties? It's that's true. True.
Had the Bluetooth headset on, just listening
Yeah.
along.
Yeah, that's very true. One final thing, Jordan. If you may, I'm actually sending you a DM as we speak. And are you able to announce our next guest for our next episode?
I would love to.
You could say a little bit about this individual, and you can just announce it to the HCR2 community. Go for it, mate.
All right, I'd be honored. So, for the next episode of the AUSNZ podcast, they're going to have a very special guest, a really good friend of mine that I've come to know just recently here. And we were fortunate enough to have him be part of our team, and I've been able to race with him for a little bit as well. And most people probably know him from his bot work within the community. So, the bot that is used for adventure commands, public event, team event strategy, that kind of thing, his Challenger server, and then making the custom Cyber Bill bot for the Fingersoft server, the one to be feared, from what I'm told. So the next guest is going to be the extremely talented and extremely friendly Solus.
Beautiful. We cannot wait to have Solus on the show. We'll have lots to talk about, and that's a great episode, and I'm looking forward to as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming on again. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks from now, and with the Solus episode. Thanks for listening. Just by the way, before we go, just thanks so much for all the listeners listening in, because truly, without you guys, the show, there is no show. So thanks to everybody for listening, all your comments, and please keep it up, and which we appreciate all the love and support that we get. So thank you again, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
See ya.
Peace.